So what an incredibly volatile day. What's going on, guys? It's Ricky with TechBot Solutions here with a super quick market update. And I wanted to make sure that we broke down everything that happened today so you have a full understanding of, well, what the heck, right? All of a sudden, markets are selling off, and not all of a sudden, markets were selling off. There's consistent selling pressure. Then markets began to show signs of recovery. And then out of nowhere, about 41 minutes after the market opened, the markets began to skyrocket for no reason, right? Or at least it was expected for no reason. Then we later came to find out what the news was. The news was fake, and then the markets began to retrace. Let's go ahead and break down everything that you need to know about this. So this is Eastern Standard Time. At 10:10 a.m., which is about 40 minutes after the market opened, rumors began to emerge that the White House was considering a 90-day tariff pause. At 10:15, this is where the issue is. CNBC reported that Trump is considering a 90-day tariff pause on all countries except China. Complete BS, not actually true. By 10:18, the S&P 500 has added over $3 trillion in market cap from its lows. And then at 10:25, just 15 minutes after, reports emerged that the White House was unaware of Trump considering a 90-day pause. And then at 10:26, CNBC reports that the 90-day tariff pause headline was incorrect. This is the part that gets or should get people in trouble. A lot of people, I think, took it out of context in my previous video, and I even made a reel about this on Instagram and on TikTok, where I talked about Bill Ackman, because it was Bill Ackman that was urging Trump and the Trump administration to pause the 90-day or pause tariffs for 90 days. Bill Ackman, although he's a public figure, although he's a billionaire, and he's a hedge fund manager, he's open to say whatever it is that he wants, right? That's the whole point of freedom of speech. I mean, does he impact markets? Sure. But he doesn't impact markets like this. The issue is not with what he said. It's with CNBC and the impact and influence that they had to the overall markets. Because of how they titled that misleading article, it caused the market to skyrocket and then quickly correct itself. Fortunately, as many of you guys saw, for those that were part of my LPP team, we saw it all happen live. We saw that the markets were skyrocketing, and just like any time, I try to find the source. We quickly all began to scramble, find the reason on why it was pushing up. Once I became aware that it was Bill Ackman's message, but that CNBC had a misleading title, it was a very clear opportunity for me to short it because I identified it as fake news. We added more to our short, and as markets corrected themselves, we made a decent amount of money, right? I think within that live session, I made over $4,000 shorting Tesla. That's a good trade, very good trade for me, right? Markets found the support. Now, I want to share all the details. So when I shared the news about Bill Ackman, and it might have come off as I was having a problem with him, there is no problem with him. First off, I mean, he is a billionaire hedge fund manager, and he's open and welcome to say whatever it is that he wants. It's because of the misleading titles by these news outlets and the influence that they have that is what impacted and caused this huge pump, which then later ended up dumping. And I can reassure you that a bunch of beginners were bull trapped into this. That's when the markets push up, it encourages them to buy, they get caught at these overbought levels, and then markets quickly correct themselves. But there's some things to note from this. So let's go ahead and talk about it. The thing that I want to share with you is pretty much the breakdown of how it all happened. CNBC reports, rumors emerge, CNBC reports, S&P 500 adds $3 trillion from lows on the day. CNBC reports that, again, they're unaware, and then again, it is considered fake news, and then they raise $2.5 trillion, showing that, again, pretty much giving back everything that they gained. Markets go absolutely haywire, and then on top of that, supposedly this pause, again, just moments after, Trump announces a possible tariff increase to China, and China does not fold. This was an update that I wanted to provide for you. China says that it will not bow down to President Trump and his new tariff threats. So China is holding its ground. And like I've told you guys before, China is not Mexico and China is not Canada. China is like a world power, and they know the influence and power that they hold, right? So I do not think it's going to be very easy to try to negotiate with a country like China. In my opinion, it's China and China's allies that are going to be most likely the biggest issue for the US and especially for Trump. Nonetheless, again, what was learned today? This was the biggest thing and the whole reason that I'm making this video. So the US swung $7 trillion in 30 minutes on fake tariff news headlines. While the move was undone, we obtained key information about the current state of the market. What exactly does this mean? What I learned and what this thing makes very clear is that the market and investors are eager to rotate capital back into the market. It is showcasing how eager investors and retail traders are to start pumping money back into the market. That's truly what I think we learned from this, because even though markets did correct themselves, they never went back to make new lows. And if we take into consideration from where we closed at on Friday to where we opened at today, the lows that we hit during overnight hours and during extended hours, we actually didn't make new lows. There were signs of progress. The markets showed resilience. Now, again, this all completely will probably mean nothing if the tariff or trade war continues to get worse. But if things do not get worse and countries begin to renegotiate with the United States, then yes, it wouldn't be much of a surprise. It wouldn't take much for the markets to begin to recover. This is exciting that, yes, the markets are eager, and it was clearly displayed today. At least that is my interpretation of it. You guys let me know down in the comment section that investors are showing how eager they are to rotate back into the market. But we have to be careful. Today is a great example how a misleading headline can create a lot of volatility, which then people later can end up regretting. You shouldn't be making impulsive decisions based off of any news. And remember, there's nothing wrong with trading the market right now, but long term, it's a very simple question. Are you investing in companies that your future self will thank you for, right? It's not that the markets have to recover anytime soon or that they need to recover now, because that's definitely not the case. You guys know that I've been, eager for markets to correct themselves, but now that they've become a little bit more oversold and I'm seeing how eager the markets are to recover, we have to switch it up. We have to make sure that we respect these overbought levels and these oversold levels. And you could see how eager the market is to now recover. I'm excited to see if markets do begin to recover. I am often very early with buying into the dip, which is why, again, I'm very careful with my position size and how much I buy. I try to keep it lighter. And I have no expectation of making any money anytime soon with the investments I'm choosing to invest in right now. The whole reason behind it is I want to buy now, and as markets do begin to recover, I can add more when direction is favorable. There's no reason to overcomplicate it. I'm not buying 5, 10, 15 different stocks. I'm focusing on 3 to 4 different stocks. They're good quality companies that are bullish long-term, and I'm doing it in a way that's tasteful, and I'm doing it with cash, not doing it with margin or borrowed money, because we all know that if markets turn against you, when you're using leverage, then you can get margin called. Do not put yourself in a position in which you cannot tolerate. Today was a lot of fun to trade, but I know trading is not for everyone. Like I said, I shorted Tesla, and even one of the trades that I shared later with my LPP team was one of the short positions that I quickly had on SMCI. From overbought levels to oversold levels, I walked away with $1,800 on this trade as well. And again, with great volatility comes great responsibility. But again, trading is not for everyone, but investing can be. As long as you manage your position size, you invest in good quality companies. And third, most important one is that you set yourself up for success with your understanding that this isn't going to make you money now. The whole purpose of it is to buy now and hopefully just set yourself up for the future. It's not going to make you a millionaire. It's not going to make you uber successful, but hopefully it can just be a proof of concept to show you that this is why you invest during downturns, because when markets recover, there is money to be made. And hopefully it can be enough of a proof of concept for yourself that later on, when you make more money, then again, you can choose to invest more money when you have experienced it yourself, not just because someone in front of a computer is talking about it, right? So I at least learn best not just by watching other people do, but from my own experience. So this is why, again, I think just getting invested, staying light, and keeping it tasteful is a great way to be approaching the market right now. So very excited to follow up. I hope to see you for tomorrow's live trading session. I want to invite you. Again, you don't have to tune on in, but if you'd like to check it out, it's the second link in the description down below. I appreciate your time. And like always, let's make sure that we end the year on a green note. Take care, team.